Everyone dreams of turning their hobby into a job, but not many people get to do it or are brave enough to do it.
Well, today we meet a young lady who took a leap of faith and turned her knitting hobby into a thriving business. Meet Jessie McShane, founder of Wool and Whiskey.
In Minnesota, we fight the cold any way we can. A hot drink, blaze in the fireplace, maybe some wool and whiskey. It's a fitting name for Jessie McShane's business she runs out of her St. Paul apartment.
Wool and Whiskey is a brand that I created last year. I knit and crochet scarves and headbands and mittens.
It started as just a hobby while teaching abroad in Korea, knitting to pass the time.
My coworkers there, actually almost all of them, were either knitting or crocheting between classes or on our field trips. So one day they kind of, Jessie, you should try this. So they taught me, and it was, from there I loved it. I started wearing them last fall, and I would be walking down the street and someone would stop me and say, "Can I ask you where you got your scarf?"
And that's how she knitted together a business, selling her handmade items on e-commerce website, Etsy.com.
So this takes you how long to do one of these?
About 2 hours to do one of these, yeah.
A lot of TLC.
Jessie doesn't really look the part of a knitter.
But you're not 80 years old. You're mid-20s.
I'm not 80 years old, no. For me, especially juggling school and work and kind of everything, it's something for a hobby for me to just sit down and say, okay, this is what I can do to just relieve a lot of my stress.
How do you feel about this business you've started and it has success?
Yeah, it does, and it's been crazy. It's been a whirlwind, but it's kind of been like a dream come true to me because it's something that I love doing, and I love seeing pictures from friends, or they're out at the games and they'll have their scarves on social media, and I'm like, that's a Wool and Whiskey scarf.
So Jessie did loan us a couple of her scarves.
I know.
You've been just dying to get your hands on these. Go ahead.
Because they're
ahead.
incredibly
yeah, they are
soft.
really incredibly soft. I do own one of them
You
myself, and then afterward I placed an order for one of these and some of these because Minnesota winters.
Oh yeah, and she said that these kept her warm in the below 30
Yes.
weather. You can't.
That's what you have to have.
That's what you need. Okay, so how did she come up with the name Wool and Whiskey?
Wool and Whiskey. So Jessie was at I think she was in Wisconsin. She said, cold night. She had one of her scarves on that she'd made. Some of her friends were drinking whiskey, and she's just like, Wool and Whiskey, this is the perfect combination, and obviously it served her well.
I love it.
Yeah, so more information at WCCO.com/links if you want to check that out. She's also gotten attention from Progresso
Soups.
They reached out to her and they said, we would love to partner with you. They're doing a social media thing with the
How
hashtag
cool.
Soup Season, so you can find out more about that online.
Awesome.